Greetings, viewers. We have an unboxing video today. We have a brand new pen from Platinum. This is the Prefounte. This is a upgraded version of a legendary pen from Platinum called the Platinum Preppy. So I'll be comparing it to the Platinum Preppy as well as giving my overall assessment of this pen. In terms of price, Platinum Preppy in the US goes for about $5. This goes for about 10. So we're going to see if this is worth two of these. That's basically what the deal is. So it comes in a sort of upgraded packaging. Platinum Preppy doesn't even really come in a package. It just comes kind of loose like this with a single platinum ink cartridge just sort of sitting inside the barrel of the pen. This pen comes in this nice sort of retail packaging, which we're going to tear into at the moment. So let's see. It looks like there is a piece of tape sealing this off right here. So we're going to cut through that. And let's see. Open this up. There we go. So not much to it. You have the pen itself. You have the cap, and then you have a single platinum cartridge. Okay, so I'm looking right here. Right away, this is a little disappointing. So this is the dark emerald pen. So it's a very nice shade of emerald, dark emerald green, but it comes with a blue-black cartridge. So right away, I'm a little disappointed. I would have expected the cartridge that it comes with to at least match the pen. So that's not that I'm going to use this cartridge. I'm going to be eyedroppering this pen, but this is right off the bat is a little bit disappointing. I was expecting this beautiful emerald green pen to come with a matching cartridge, and it doesn't. So the blue-black is fine, but again, would have been nice to have a cartridge that matches the pen. Okay, so let's see. Right away, this pretty much feels almost identical. Let's compare it size-wise to the Preppy. I'm going to guess that, yeah, it's spot on. Is it spot on? Let's see. Ooh, yes, it is the same size. Just for completeness sake, here they are both compared to a Lamy Safari and a Pilot Metropolitan. So you can see these are very, very conventionally sized pens. In terms of weight on this pen, I'll weigh this and put the weight on the screen in post-production right here. Right away, so what we're basically seeing is barrels appear to be mostly identical, if not completely identical. If these were made from the exact same mold, I wouldn't be shocked. Even the little sort of polygon pattern on the bottom of the Platinum Preppy is actually there on the Prefounte. It's just a little harder to see because the darker color. So what you get on the Prefounte in terms of logoing, it says 0.5 millimeter, platinum made in Japan, and then it says Prefounte on the side. The Platinum Preppy has a lot more indicia, etc. on it. They do make a version of the Platinum Preppy called the Crystal, which has less labeling on it, etc. So the big difference that I'm seeing here is the Preppy has a clip that is molded into the cap, whereas the Prefounte has a traditional metal clip that is attached. They both have the same interior spring-loaded seal mechanism. So if this works as well as it does on the Preppy, and I have no reason to think it wouldn't, this will seal and keep the pen quite nice. One thing that I actually kind of like a little bit, when you close this pen, the section is transparent. So when you close the pen, a little bit of the transparent section is visible and almost makes like a little highlight ring. I kind of like that. That looks pretty nice. The Platinum Preppy has the nib size on the top of the cap. This does not. The nibs section, etc., seem to be completely identical, and I would suspect they're interchangeable. Let's just confirm that. I would be shocked to see otherwise. Yeah, these are just the exact same. Yeah, these are just all the exact same nib unit, etc. So these components of the pen are exactly the same. We're dealing with a different color plastic here, but other than that, we're dealing with something that's exactly the same, and I would suspect that the caps are interchangeable as well. Yes. Yeah. So these are all just the same parts. So basically, what you're dealing with here is a platinum Preppy in colored plastic instead of colored translucent plastic instead of clear plastic, with a metal clip instead of the plastic clip. I believe the nib is exactly the same, etc. Yeah. So that, I believe that is the only difference. Now the question is, in percentage terms, it's double the price. So the question is it worth $5 more? If you look at it in dollar terms, maybe, barely. I mean, I think that's really pushing it. If you like the metal clip a lot better, if you have a real problem with this clip, or maybe you keep breaking them or something like that, that's a different story. If you really like the different colors that it comes in, and it comes in a bunch of different colors, that's something else as well. One issue that you have to deal with the Platinum Preppy and this pen as well now, is that it uses proprietary cartridges and converters. So you have the options are to use the included platinum cartridge. When that's done, you either have to keep buying platinum cartridges, or you can refill this with a syringe, which is a perfectly reasonable thing to do. Or you can buy a platinum converter, but that's going to cost, platinum converter costs $6, $7, $8, something like that, which is more than the price of the Platinum Preppy, and percentage-wise is adding a lot of cost to this. I'm not sure that that's worth it. Or you can do what a lot of people do, and what I'm going to demonstrate how to do right now, which is eyedropper this pen. So my Platinum Preppies, I think I mostly, almost exclusively eyedroppered all of them. And I'm going to do the same with this pen as well. Again, I'm a little disappointed about the cartridge. Blue-black is fine, but I would really have expected to match the pen. That would have actually made it almost worth the money. Like maybe if they gave you 2 or 3 cartridges that match the pen, now we're talking being worth the extra money. At this point, I'm very much on the edge wise, whether it's worth the extra money. The problem is this pen exists. If this pen didn't exist and they came out with this for $10, I'd say it's worth $10 all day long. Problem is this does exist for $5. That's the problem here. Let's get going with eyedropping this. So you're going to need a couple of things. First thing, you're going to need some silicone grease. But then again, if you're any sort of a fountain pen enthusiast, I'm sure you have some. You're going to need a syringe or an eyedropper. I'm going to be using this syringe here. An eyedropper is okay. This is preferable. And you're going to need some O-rings. O-rings come in different sizes. The ones you're going to want for doing this pen have an inside diameter of 7 millimeters and a cross section of 1 millimeter. So let's just open this up and take a look at what one of these look like. These are essentially tiny ring type gaskets, and what we're dealing with this is, like I said, an inside diameter of 7 millimeters and what they call the cross section, which is essentially the diameter of the O-shaped piece of rubber if you were to cut through it. So it's essentially a 7 millimeter inside diameter and a 1 millimeter cross section, meaning that the outside diameter but that's not a measurement that they use for these, but the outside diameter would be 9 millimeters. So because you get 1 millimeter on either side for the cross section, and 7 millimeters for the inside diameter. So that's the size of these you want. Fountain pen vendors do, like Goulet pens, I believe, and a few other places like that, actually sell these specifically for this purpose. Or you can get them in bulk from places that sell hardware and on Amazon and stuff like that, because O-rings are very commonly used in industry, etc. They just come in all sorts of different sizes. So we have our O-ring, we have our silicone grease, and we have our syringe. So we're going to get going on eyedropping this guy. So let me come in a little bit. And firstly, obviously, you're going to remove the cap. Next thing you're going to do is unscrew it and set the barrel aside. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to work the O-ring, put the O-ring on, stretch it, and work it down until it rests on this ledge right here. So let me do that so you can see how that works. So these guys just sort of stretch, you get it on there, and then you're going to work it down until it rests right on that ledge that I was telling you about. Okay. And almost there. All right, there we go. So, see, I'm going to come in nice and close here. That's where you want your O-ring to be, all the way rested against that ledge there. Okay, that's step one. Step two is we're going to take a small amount of silicone grease, and I do mean a fairly small amount of silicone grease, and we're going to grease these threads and the O-ring. And there we go. That's a little, after we put the pen together, we will wipe off the excess. Don't worry. Okay, that is that for the silicone grease component. Next step is we're going to fill up the barrel with ink. So the ink I'm going to use, since they did not provide me with emerald green ink in the cartridge, I'm going to use my own emerald green ink, and this is TWSBI Emerald Green. So just open up your ink bottle. We're going to take our syringe. We're going to draw up a good amount of ink. Don't worry if you draw up too much. You can always put the rest right back in the bottle, which is what we're going to do. And then you're simply going to fill up your barrel of your ink, barrel with ink, and you're going to do it until it comes to just below the threads on the section. And like I said, we have a little bit of excess ink, and I'm just going to simply squirt that right back in the bottle. No problem at all. Then we take our silicone greased and O-ring section, and we simply screw it in until the O-ring sort of compresses against the barrel, like that. You don't want to over tighten it. You could crack this. You'll know it when it's down. The O-ring is basically going to compress against the barrel. And then, like I said, there may be some silicone grease oozing out there. You're going to want to wipe off that excess. And that is as simple as that. Cap the pen and then store it upside down for a little while, because again, you never dip this, right? So there's going to be no ink in the feed, etc. So simply store it upside down for a little bit and let the ink come down, and then you're all ready to go and write. Speaking of writing, I'm guessing you want to see this pen write. You're going to get what you want to see right now. Okay, folks, what we're writing with here is a platinum. Prefounte. By the way, to the best of my knowledge, Prefounte doesn't actually mean anything. I think it's just sort of a made-up, somewhat French-sounding word, but if anybody has any more information about that, I'd be willing to be corrected. So anyway, this is the platinum Prefounte. So this is basically a platinum Preppy. Plus. And the plus, like I said, is really two things that I could tell. The metal clip and the fact that it comes in colors, that the barrel's actually colored plastic. Other than that, identical nib and all that. So this particular one is a 0.5 millimeter steel nib. And this writes really well. So this is smooth. It flows well. It's everything you'd expect in the Platinum Preppy. In my favorite pens video of the last 2 years, Platinum Preppy has won the under $10 category. It remains to be seen if this pen will dethrone it or even be able to hold the position as well. So we'll see a year from now. But that is, it's like I said, if you like the Platinum Preppy, you like the way it writes, this is basically the absolutely identical writing experience. Again, I really like it. I think it writes better than a lot of pens that are considerably more expensive. But again, it also writes the exact same as a pen that's half the price. So I think I'm going to, in terms of an overall evaluation as to whether it's worth the money, I'm going to stick with what I said before. If this pen didn't exist, you would say, yes, this pen's absolutely worth $10. The fact that you can get the identical writing experience for half the price does make this pen seem expensive for what it is. So, you with me there? And again, a little disappointed about the ink cartridge color. But I was able to mitigate that by finding my own ink that matches it perfectly. So, that's one nice thing about eyedropping it. And again, the eyedropping, as you see, is very, very easy to do, works really effectively, and it really holds a lot of ink. So, that's basically it for this pen. Like I said, it's a really nice writing pen, and I'm happy with it. Would I buy another one? I might. It really depends on the color. If I had like an ink that I really wanted to match the color of the barrel with, etc., and so forth, and all that stuff, I would. Again, I still, I might just turn to the Platinum Preppy for other purposes. So. But it's nice to have the option, right? Definitely nice to have the option. So that's about it for this pen. Let's talk about this ink for just a moment. Okay, folks, this ink is TWSBI Emerald Green. And this is a nice shade of emerald green. This is part of the new set of inks that TWSBI came out with to sort of herald their entry into the ink business. It came as part of a 6-ink set, so I did an unboxing video of this set about a month or so ago, and I've been working through each of the colors, so eventually we'll get to all the colors in the set. But this is the emerald green, which I think complements this pen quite nicely, and is a nice shade of green. Not quite, when you think of emerald green, you think of something like Emerald of Chivor, and definitely not as saturated as that. Doesn't have any of the cool features that has, obviously. Also, something like Diamine Aurora Borealis, which is also an emerald green, considerably deeper than this. That's basically Emerald of Chivor without the sparkles, effectively. So not quite like those inks, but again, those are sort of premium priced inks, particularly the Emerald of Chivor, etc. So this is sort of a consumer grade, if you will, ink, but a nice one. I think the color is very pretty and attractive. It's got enough saturation that it works. And again, like I said, if you have a pen that complements it particularly well, like this one, complements it quite perfectly, I think it's a good choice. So that is basically what this ink looks like on this Rhodia paper. Let's take a quick look at this ink on Tomoe River paper. Okay, like we said, this ink is TWSBI Emerald Green. So, not much in the way of shading or any kind of effect like this. It's just a nice, pretty shade of green, like I said, with a decent amount of saturation. Lays very nicely on the paper, etc. Doesn't seem to have any kind of a dry time issue even on this Tomoe River paper, which is kind of impressive because a lot of inks take quite a while to dry on Tomoe River, but this one's actually doing quite a good job at that. So again, nice ink. Came as part of that TWSBI set, which again, as I go through the different inks in that 6-ink set from TWSBI, I think I'm liking that set more and more, particularly the price. It was $36 for 6 18 milliliter bottles of ink. and I pretty much like all the colors. So that is, I think, quite a good deal for a set of inks. And I think that might actually do it for this week's video. If you are not a subscriber, might I suggest humbly that you become one. If you have questions, comments, concerns, etc., please post them. Give us a thumbs up or two. Really appreciate it. And as always, until the next time we meet, have a great day. Bye-bye.